Have a couple gold rings here, a pull tab, some coins, some canslaw, and some bigger items that are trash, right? And I have the Simplex, the Equinox, and the Deus. And I'll show you that tones are everything. Having full tones on the Deus is so awesome to have, because I can reject all this big stuff, right? Even though on all these machines, these big targets here are going to give me this very similar range of VDI to these gold rings, this pull tab, and this nickel. And I'll show you that. But the tones are not the same on the Deus. The Equinox and the Simplex, most of the stuff is going to give me the same tones, right? There's not a lot of dynamics in the Equinox and the Simplex to alert you that it's junk just by swinging over it one time, right? Because you get like a mid-tone, right? You get a mid-tone and you want to investigate that, right? But with the Simplex and the Equinox, you have to work your coil out, lift your coil up, or push your pinpoint button, or switch modes, or play with it a lot, right? And with the Deus, I do not find myself doing that, right? The zinc pennies sound different from the pull tabs. The copper pennies sound different from the dimes, right? Everything gives me that certain tone, no matter how far I am away from that coil. Even if it's on its edge, right? I can call, you see me with the Deus all the time, calling out dimes, 4-inch deep dimes, or pull tabs, or pennies on their edge, because it just gives me that certain tone. Sure, it might give me a little bit of broken tone, a little bit of odd tones when I sweep on it horizontally, or vertically, as I rotate it, I'll get a little bit different tone there. But if I get that penny tone, or that dime tone, or that high tone on it, just a little bit on that radius, I'm going to dig that out. And it only takes me a second to realize that, right? With the Simplex and the Deus, or with the Simplex and the Equinox, these give me the same tones, right? No matter how big they are. And there's not a lot of dynamics in it. And I'll show you the overload response on the Deus. Swing a nickel, right? Come on. 30, right? I'm not going to really go over the coins too much, because they're very evident. But how to reject the canslaw and the big stuff. $49, $48, right? As I back out of the coil there, I'm getting a little bit of an overload tone, some iron tones. This is actually an overload tone, right? Right? A little bit of overload tone. With the Deus, it doesn't do that, right? I get the same tone on that target, no matter where I'm at in the coil, right? And with these other machines, I don't, right? So you have to back out on these large targets, and then you'll get a little bit of scratchy tones. But in my hot soil here, I'm gonna get those scratchy, irony tones no matter what I'm backing out of, right? Because I have hot soil. That's why I don't have the Equinox iron on, because it's only giving me a mineral and iron tone, right? I can't distinguish what's an iron tone and what's a mineral tone, and the Deus does, right? I don't have to do all that backing out and all that playing with the target, right? I've said in the past that the Deus is like pinpoint precision in pinpointing, right? It's like the Deus when you're pinpointing. It's like having a paper cut, right? You know exactly where that paper cut is because it hurts so bad, right? With the Equinox, it's like having a bruise, right? You don't really know where it's at, so you got to push it a little bit. You got to see where the bruise is at, you know where bruise is there somewhere, but you can't really pinpoint it very good, right? This little analogy there. You guys might hate me for saying that, but it's just the truth. It's the reality of it, right? There's places where I want to take the Equinox. There's places where I want to take the Simplex, because the Deus won't do nearly as good, right? Because the higher conductors, the Equinox and the Simplex really hit hard on those higher conductors, those silvers, the deep silvers, right? But that's not what I want to use the Deus for. I want to use the Deus to get all the rings and the jewelry out, right? So there's a big target right here, right? Something big, right? Go over it this way on the coil, right? This is that aluminum, right? Right? It's double D coil, so you know you actually have two coils here, right, side by side. So the closer you get to that target, the more it's going to double beep on you. It's going to give you some double tones on there, right? Listen to it. And the VDI range is very close on all these targets. I'm not going to show you because I don't have enough time, right? On all three of these machines, the VDI is very close to these gold rings and the canslaw and this bigger stuff here, right? But the tone's different on the Deus. I'll show you that. I can't really hear an overload response to it, right? They all sound the same, right? Skull ring right here. That's when you swing over a target, bam, you swing over it one time, you got one chance to think about it if you're going to dig that target up or not. With the Deus, I swing over a lot of targets and I know that they're junk just by sweeping over it, right? Just by gliding over all the big stuff, all the canslaw, all the foil, all that junk on the surface, right? It's pull tab right here. See if I can push the mute button there. All mid-tones, right? Another gold ring here. Right? And really, these rings and all the canslaw read up about the same on all the machines, right? Equinox right here. See, I can't tell that it's overloading the machines, right? The Simplex and the Equinox. Something small, right? Big piece of canslaw. Canslaw. Sounds freaking awesome, huh? If you have an Equinox, you probably dig up a lot of this canslaw. Big piece of aluminum right here. Sounds freaking awesome. Big. Sounds freaking awesome, right? The nickel, listen to it. It sounds pretty small. But the Zinc Penny here, right? Listen to the Zinc Penny. When I'm directly right in the center of the coil, I get a high tone, right? And as I move away from it, where I'm getting away from my coil here, I'm getting a mid-tone, right? Now I'm getting a low tone, right? Because this machine has 5-tone, I'm in 5-tone, the Simplex has 3-tone, and the Deus has many, many tones. Many, 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 many tones. And here's the copper penny. Listen. As I get out here, I'm getting a lower tone on it, right? And you can actually hear it bumping. Even when I'm swinging over the center of the coil, listen to it real close. It goes boom, 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 boom. You can hear it bumping up and down, right? And even on the Deus, these numbers are the same on this graph here, and I'll show you. 61. I'll actually go in a higher frequency here. See if I can go in a higher frequency here. It's pretty calm there. 85. And that sounds like an aluminum tone. That sounds like the pull tab tone, right? 90. I can tell that that's a Zinc Penny right off the bat. Watch. Oh. When I'm over the coil, I'm getting the same tone. Very similar to the other two machines, right? Nickel. Penny. Here's canslaw right here, right? Overload, right? Something big, it's aluminum, right? Overload. Now I'll go this bigger stuff here, right? What? Major overload. I'll even go out here. It's an overload tone. Overload tone. Look at the numbers. 84. Watch. Way out here, I can tell that it's an overload already. And I'll go with this gold ring. 77. This big aluminum right here. Overload. See? I'll swing over this way. Right. Now, I'll actually put it in 54 kilohertz. It does a lot better on getting through that trash, right? Major overload. Overload, right? I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but the GoPro camera really does not do the tones justice on any machine, right? Especially with the Deus. There's so many tones that aluminum gives me, right? When I sweep over that big canslaw or those big targets, it gives me that overload response. And with the Deus, I can actually adjust that. You know, I can adjust my audio overload so maybe it's not overloading as much, or I can have it overload a lot. But with the other machines, you know, they're just kind of bland. You know, you really have to look at your numbers a lot, and wiggle your coil and back your coil out and do a lot of playing around with the targets before you decide to dig that target up. And with the Deus, I'm just rejecting a lot of the stuff that I dig up with the Simplex and the Equinox. You know, a lot of people might get their feelings hurt, but, you know, you see me digging out a lot of coins and pull tabs really fast with the Deus. There's a reason for that, because I'm not digging up the trash, right? All that big stuff that I'm digging up with the Equinox and the Simplex. You know, I can just reject it by ear. I'm not rejecting, you know, I'm not notching out by numbers. I'm rejecting by ear, right? And because it's a tonal machine, I'm not looking, I don't know what, pretty much I don't even know what the pennies and the pull tabs and the dimes and the quarters read up on the Deus, because I really just don't look at my machine. It's just a tonal machine, right? And I can just get so much more out of the ground by not looking at my numbers, not backing out of the coil, not pushing my pinpoint button, and all that, you know, all that stuff that other guys do. You know, sure, it might help, but, you know, I still want to dig out that bigger stuff. Eventually I'll come back, you know, after I get all the coins and the jewelry and stuff out, and dig out that bigger stuff, because it could be something that I'm thinking different. You know, you think it's junk and it's not. You know, it could be a wash or something, or, you know, a big honking ring right on the surface, but you just never know what you're going to dig up. So I just suggest digging most of your good targets out first, you know, all the evident stuff out first, and then going back and, you know, maybe changing your frequency or your coil or something, and, you know, getting through the trash a little bit more so you can get deeper, so you can get the older stuff. Well, thank you for watching. Please subscribe.